Good morning guys, or good evening wherever you are in the world. Today we're gonna take a look at how you should build your Felicia if you have managed to pull her, and if you've gone for her, how would you like what does she need, okay, to be able to do something for your account. And this is what we'll just briefly go over today, so that you know in which direction you should be looking, okay. So first of all, Felicia is interesting in the kind of thing that she is an internal injury damage dealer, but she doesn't scale with mastery and internal injury damage like the other dot damage dealers. She can actually crit with her ability. Normally dots cannot crit. You can see here in the bottom left here, this damage ignores defense and cannot trigger crit, leech or damage reflect effects, okay. And that is how dot normally works, but for Felicia, she can actually crit with her internal injury damage, okay? That also means that she scales with crit damage and direct damage bonuses instead of being calculated on mastery and internal injury, is what it says here on the passive effect. So that is the first thing you need to know. You should think of her as a direct damage dealer when you gear her. So crit rate to 100% or more, crit damage as high as possible, attack as high as possible, and then direct damage bonuses from auras, passives, whatever you can get, right? Blessings, so yeah, direct damage is very good. So that is what you should know. Now, if you want to have her being CC immune in PvP, you need her to have the highest initial crit rate and a damage bonus, a crit damage bonus on your attack. Meaning, the initial meaning that it's these stats that you see here. Like, before we get into battle, these stats here, crit rate and crit damage, you want to have them being the highest on your account. For my sake, I have Marie, for example, so if I want to use Felicia and Marie together, Felicia needs more than 102% crit rate and she needs more than 400% crit damage. Let me just show you my Marie so you know what I'm talking about. You can see my Marie here, 399 crit damage and 102.6 crit rate. So if I want to have my Felicia being CC immune and use her together with Marie, I would need Felicia to get more than 400% crit damage and a crit rate that is higher than this, okay? And that can be pretty tough, but maybe we are going to like remove a blessing or something. Now I don't have any gems because I just used them all, so yeah, GG. And they should really just remove the cost of this here. It's stupid that you need to pay gems to like switch your blessings around, okay? Blessings are already a very hard thing to get. A decent blessings off, like the Elemental Cloister, is not very good, okay? You get crap even at 40 every week, so I don't understand why it should cost anything to just move it around. Like, yeah, stupid. Anyways, but we can maybe move one of these here around and then give Marie some direct damage blessing instead. We have something like this here, 12.2% could be nice. And use that and then lower her crit damage a bit if we cannot get Felicia to have more crit damage than Marie, okay? But we will see when I get into the gearing later on. Anyways, that's just a quick note on how to gear her. So think of her as a direct damage dealer. Now, for her basic stats here, if we'll take a look at those, she does start with pretty low speed actually, I think, 1050. Considering that she is an attack hero, but kinda aims to be also a bit of a support with damage reduction stuff and like that, I think 1050 is not that great for a limited hero, to be honest. And also, her attack is not the highest, 12,788 here from the beginning. But I do think, okay, maybe it is, can't remember what Lance had, but she might be able to get to around 14,500, maybe 15,000 attack. If you get her to 180. We'll do that also later, but right now she's just gonna be like this here, okay? So I would go and gear her out. Now I'm just gonna do a quick like showcase here on how I would gear her, and then I'm gonna do my proper gearing later. So in the next video you see where we're testing her, I will actually have like tried my best at giving her some stuff, okay? Now, if you go for quick gearing here, you want to have a speed artifact in the last slot, and you want to have crit rate or crit damage if you can have it. Apparently, I don't have anything on my account because Nameless Brotherhood is not the artifact faction that I've actually been farming. Don't really have anyone, I think. So, yeah, it's not looking great because this is the only thing I have. Okay, maybe this one here actually. 15% crit damage and some attack rate could be nice. I think that one might be good. You can do something with that. These are epic, that has been upgraded. So and this one has a bit of crit rate, doesn't really matter. Attack, mastery, and DC. I think this one, we'll go with this one here. This is the best one we have at the moment, so we're gonna equip that, and then we can use a mystic shell on it or whatever later on to see what we can get. Maybe because we don't want to use it right now because I might need some crit rate or something to get higher, but 15% crit damage is definitely good to have from this one here when we try to get 400% or more. So in the middle slot here, you will want to go with attack because it does not need effect hit, so you want to go with attack for sure, and then some crit rate, crit damage, and speed and attack. You can also go with that and just go and take a look at what you have. Okay, so maybe I have some crit damage, crit rate here. Let's see. We have one there with 9% crit rate. It's pretty good. Let's see. This one could be nice. Should we try and level it up here, see what we get? So that is a lot of attack. Effect rest, let's use one of these things here, and effect rest, yeah, kind of sucks, okay? But a lot of attack on this one here if I wanted that, and then this one here, crit damage, a lot of crit damage also. Very good again here, and this one is giving me a lot of crit rate though. So one of these two here could be very nice. This one has the potential that we can actually put a mythic scale on it, and it can hit crit damage or crit rate if we're lucky, but there's no speed on it though, right? We might also need some speed. We'll have to see if we need speed in the end. Let's just start by equipping this one here, and then we'll figure it out after the video. So for this one here, you have two choices. It is crit rate or it's crit damage. Now, if you can manage to get to 100% or more crit rate without this one here, obviously you should go for crit damage. If you cannot, then it's actually okay to take a crit rate one with maybe a good substat in crit damage, and then just equip that instead. Could be something like this here that my Jingle Bell has on. She has a lot of crit damage, and well, you can get it up to level a red one, right? So maybe you can take one of these items here that you have in your inventory and then just give it to her. So I'm gonna give her a bit of speed here with some crit damage, and I'm just gonna give it this one here to see how it goes, okay? Now for the set bonuses here, I would definitely recommend you either go with the crit damage. If you have these here, the fast killing set would be very nice because you give her some speed, direct damage, and crit damage. Or you can go the more traditional route and go with basic attack here from the Devour gear. Now, if you don't have access to these endgame sets here, I would maybe tell you to go for, let's see, you can go with something like this here. Crit rate, crit damage, the Slay set is very nice. I mean, something like this here could be good. Obviously, she doesn't scale with HP, but if you have something like with crit rate, crit damage, very nice. Like something like this here could also be decent. You might have some of these items here in your inventory that you can use. Alternatively, you can also use a speed set where you just like tell it to go for crit rate, crit damage, and attack maybe. It's not a lot of gear with those stats I have on my account actually, but something like this here would be perfect, right? And then something like this is very good, like 80 speed is okay, especially for early game, and then attack, crit damage, crit rate. Might have to lock that one, could be nice. So just go and look for items like that. See if you have something that is interesting, right? Like this here, or this here. You can even see my, what's it called? It's like Zulu here. He has some interesting gear, right? Should we try and equip that just to make it? I'm just gonna like take a look at how it's gonna look with some not endgame gear, right? You can also see here that our crit rate is actually pretty high here. So I think you could transition into a crit damage down here if you wanted, if you really wanted it, right? So you want to have more crit damage for sure, more speed, and then just go and take a look at what you have on your account, okay? Maybe you have some interesting sets. Could be anything. You could take something like yeah, the crit rate and crit damage set is not the best, but if you can have the Slay set, it's okay. Then it's okay, okay? So you can just take something, put it on. So something like this here. Let's just see. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna put something like this here just to do it in the test. So that is how it looks now, and you can see I'm overcapped on crit rate for sure. I'm missing a lot of crit damage, so what we could do is transition this one down here and just say crit damage and then speed maybe. Maybe we have something interesting. You can see my Marie one here is kind of good. It's kind of good. This one here, let's just try and equip this one just to see what this looks like. So after just putting random stuff onto her and not upgrading anything, and of course these here cannot be upgraded, but it's just to take an example, right? You can see here that I'm already like having the crit rate that is necessary, and I don't even have the crit damage, not even close to that. So I would definitely have to min-max my gear to get around the Marie, because Marie is just so geared, so it's gonna be very hard to get 400% crit damage, right? And but this is good for early game. Like this is not an end game build that this is showing you how you could build your hero, right? It could be something like this here. So pretty easy for you to get the crit cap. Okay, so in this video here, of course, I'm just showing you how it would look for early game or whatever. Maybe this is good stat for your account, I don't know. For me, I need at least 60k attack before I can consider it to be decent. For you, 43k attack, sorry, might be a lot actually in early game. So if you can manage to achieve stats like this, it's going to be great, right? I know the speed is kind of low, but if you then use a mythic shard on something like this here, you get 78 more speed or something like that. And then if you have more there, also the same. So there are some potential of getting some speed. Now that is just a showcase, okay? That's the stats that you want to go for. Now, obviously I would, if she's going to do a lot of damage, we are going to use our breakthrough materials on her just to make her a bit better, right? So we can do the first few here because we have so many of these mats here. So let's just give her up to breakthrough 4. And obviously we can go and do breakthrough 6 also if we wanted that. But we need to test her out first to see if she's worth the investment. Okay, for the Arcane Gem, I would, she doesn't have her own Arcane Gem yet, so I would suggest using something like this here. The Glory of Judgment could be very nice on her, especially if you have a few copies here of it. You can put attack buff on the rest of your allies, which would help someone like Marie, and you will also boost your own damage here with crit damage and direct damage. And later on she's gonna give some turn meter to herself as well. So I think Glory of Judgment is the one I would put on Felicia if I were going to do it right, and that is probably what I'm going to do. So for the Echo, she does have her own Echo, so definitely put her own Echo on. And if you have this Echo here, you should definitely get it. You can get up to 24% crit rate just from this one here. So you have to consider that as well when you're gearing, that 24% is actually a lot of crit rate. It's a lot of crit rate, okay? And it's gonna help you reach the cap of 100% and above, okay? So use your own Echo for sure. And then for the aura, you have a few options. If you are just starting out, I would put a Victory Rush aura on her to get her some direct damage. If you have the purple one, I would put the Deep Targeting aura, or you can go with the Bold Confidence. You just need to know that in game, you cannot see the crit damage here, and you cannot see the crit rate, but it is there, it is calculated, but it's just not shown in your stats. And also, auras does not count towards the initial passive thing, okay? So you shouldn't think that you can just equip this here and then be higher than Marie or your other damage dealers, okay, in crit rate and crit damage. It doesn't count because auras are applied in game, and she's looking at the initial one. Now, if you have the legendary runes here, you can go with the versatility aura, which is very nice, but very, very expensive. And I think personally that there might be other heroes that could use this one more. But obviously, if you're rich or you just have a lot of these runes here, you can go ahead and put that on, okay? But what I'm going to do and what I'm going with is going to be the boss layer. I'm going to go with the boss layer. You don't need shield smash because you already have 100% piercing rate because she is doing dot damage and not direct damage, but she is a direct damage dealer in a sense, right? So I'm going to go with the boss layer aura. It's pretty cheap to level up. Rune 3 here is cheap to get, so, and as you can see here, I have some 4 and 7, so might as well just go with that. I think I can easily max this on her, so that's what I'm going with. That is my idea at least, and we're gonna get 40% direct damage against bosses. So if she does any damage against bosses, then she's gonna get 40% more. Okay, that's good. For blessings, For blessings, you want to go with speed in the first slot here. Go with speed for sure. So you want to have some speed. And then for the middle slot, you can go with crit rate, crit damage, or even direct damage. It's up to you. You have to decide depending on if you need crit rate, crit damage to get above your other ally. Only if you want to have the CC immunity, obviously. In PvE, you can just like ignore the whole thing about being the highest initial crit and crit damage, right? But for PvP, you want to have a CC immune, right? You always want CC immunity in PvP. But you can put something on her that maybe makes sense for you. Just look if you want a crit rate or crit damage and then go with that. And if you can already do it, then just go direct damage. Now for the last one, doesn't matter. Put tenacity, put some, I don't know, damage reflect, heal effect, whatever. Last slot doesn't really matter. Okay. Now for the emblems, this is interesting and will be the last one in this video here, I think. The emblems, you have to take the direct damage emblems, not the mastery ones. So if you're looking at the recommended emblems here, it's going to suggest you based on that she's doing internal injury damage. The game actually thinks that she is supposed to be doing dot damage. So don't go with the recommended emblems down here. Nope, 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 doesn't work. And she doesn't need effect hit either. So it's kind of weird that it's telling you to get the effect hit, right? Because she has literally no debuffs here. There's no debuffs. She is only doing damage and buffs to help your team. So effect hit is useless, okay? For me, I would go with crit rate until you get to the cap. If you get above the cap and above the passive threshold, then go with attack, obviously. For now, I'm just gonna go with crit rate. Now here, we're gonna go with direct damage though, and we'll take this one here so she does a bit more damage. You can, if you don't want to have the 9% damage taken, you can go and spend a few more in the other rows here. But yeah, direct damage and direct damage. This one here, and then we're gonna take this one here. Damage dealt, and crit damage. Okay, not mastery, but crit damage. Now for the sub row here, I'm actually gonna go with the defense route, because I don't really like these talents for her. She doesn't need effect hit, and she's not gonna heal, she's not gonna shield. Well, she is healing with exclusive 3, but if you see what it says here, not affected by healing effect or healed effect. Okay, so that doesn't work on her. So you want to have some effect rest here, because she can still be hit by every other debuff in the world. And we're going to take the dot damage reduced here by 9%. Now if you don't take this one here, then take this one here, damage reflect. And then we are going to go with let's just go with effect res here, damage reduction and damage reduction. So it looks like this here, the emblems. This is how I'm building Felicia. In the next video will be a test on exclusive 0 and then exclusive 1. And in the next video I will have put some better stuff on her, min-maxing her gear, and I'm gonna put her echo, and I'm gonna max the echo also. Can max it, so I'm gonna max it also, giving her a lot of crit rate down, and maybe put an Arcane Gem on her. Breakthrough, we already break through her, right? So you might as well just level her up. Do stuff like that with her. See if you can do anything with all of that at exclusive 0. And if you can't do that, well, then you know at least that you shouldn't put all your resources into her. Have a nice evening. Have a nice morning. Cheers. Bye.